What the fuck is Talk to Me? Talk to Me is the new A24 film directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, the legendary duo of YouTube fame Rackarackas. First of all, I just want to say I'm very, very proud of those boys for making it this far. I remember I used to watch all of their videos back in the day, especially their Superman and versus Marvel, or DC versus Marvel video, which is awesome. I've always saw them having this horror feel to their films, so seeing them able to come this far in their filmmaking efforts, in all the things that they've done over the years, finally coming to pass, is something very, very inspiring as a guy who loves films, make YouTube videos, and hope to possibly make a film himself in the future. I'm sorry to say, what is A24 giving you critics? Are they actively siphoning your drinks and food with crack cocaine or something? What is happening? I looked this movie up. It has a 7.4 on IMDb and a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I have to say, how did this movie make it this far? Genuinely, this to me was probably the worst. Not the worst, because fear still exists. It's not the worst horror movie, but one of the bad horror movies that I've seen this year. This is a movie starring Sophie Wilde as Mia, a girl whose mother passed about 3 years ago. She's going through a little bit of a depressional time right now. She wants to hang out with her friend Jade, who's played by Alexandria Jensen. And they get into a little bit as they're hanging out. They go to hang out with some friends. They pull out this ceramic hand thingy and they tell her to hold on to it, say talk to me, and it will show you spirits, and you say let them in, and then they inhabit your body. I thought the overall premise that we have going on here was actually pretty inventive and creative. Ceramic hand that shows you demons and possesses you, and that's pretty creative. So it's very intriguing upon, when you first get into the overall story, but it's when the story actually unfolds where you start to slowly stop caring, at least for me personally. Because overall, these characters, I just do not care for them. I feel like the overall characters that we have here is actively begging demons to come and kill them and to possess their bodies. I couldn't caring about any of our characters because all of our characters are just bratty, mean, stuck-up teenagers who are just doing random dumb shit for the sake of doing random dumb shit. And I'm sorry, I can't handle watching horror movies where our main characters are doing random dumb shit. To me, when it comes to horror, I want to feel like this is a thing being forced upon you. This is something that you didn't ask for. This isn't something you're trying to ask for, but it is just a thing that inhabits you and that you have to be accountable for. Something that's highly deadly, something that's trying to take over you and kill you. That to me is horror, because it goes from a sense of like why you get scared about things in general, why you get scared about going to anything, because hey, it's told to be safe and it's supposed to have all these safe regards, but at the same time something bad can still happen to you. Or you're just going along your merry way, and then your whole life is turned upside down. This is the complete opposite in this movie. These are people actively searching out and going towards death and mayhem at every possible turn. So when it does eventually turn into this demonic possession, scary thriller that it's supposed to be, I'm no longer scared, because why would I? They actively asked for these demons to come to them. They had so much time to not even get themselves involved in this plot that when the plot eventually does happen, you're just sitting there going, I don't care for these people. These people don't deserve my sympathies or for me to even be scared for what exactly is happening towards them. And plus, to me, the demon possession storyline that craves your grief and heartache and things like that to me are just so boring and so played out and so paint by numbers when it comes to horror films. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like Hereditary. It's because even for the first half, that is this weird, eerie, dark portion of the story, towards the second half it just becomes paint by numbers demon stuff. Oh, your family's grieving, the demon takes over because of your grief, it makes you weak and it's easy for them to come in. Oh my god, this is things that they've been doing since forever. And it's not like it's a thing that happens at a moment of a weakness or anything like that, like this is her first time doing it and then she goes, oh my god, I need to do this some more. It's a thing that just slowly, it's not even a thing that slowly happens. They keep actively putting themselves into the situation over and over again, and that when the demonic possession does happen, you go, thankfully, finally it happens. But you also go, finally it happens, because for the bulk of this movie, it's trying so hard to be a dramatic movie about grief that it slowly stops and forgets that it's a horror movie. It kind of gave me the Boogeyman vibes, which was so much a drama about grief that when it got to the horror felt disconnected from everything we've been watching. I do give this movie props for that they did do something better than the Boogeyman, in the sense that they had the grief and the demon affect the person with the grief. At least in this movie, the Boogeyman, they did something weird. They had a person that was dealing with grief but had the monster affect another character. The Boogeyman is terrible. Just don't watch that. But I just stopped caring about the characters, which means I just stopped caring about the story in itself. After so many times they're begging and actively trying to get this demon to infect him and to possess them. I just could care less. So I'm gonna say, what is this movie? Terrible. I'll give this movie a 4 out of 10. Mostly due to the fact it does look good and it has some pretty good sound moments, but everything else, the characters, the stories, I'm just not messing with it.